linear systems. At the very end, because this line can cross the parabola twice, you should have not just one ordered pair, but you will have two ordered pairs. So what's going to happen is we're going to solve for x first. And when we do asterisk problems, don't you guys usually get two x values? Yeah, so when we solve these, the first thing that's going to happen is we're going to get both of our x values, but we're not going to know our corresponding y values. So we'll do two plug-ins. We're going to plug this number in to get the matching y, and we'll plug this number in to get its matching y. Okay? Promise you, it's not that bad. If you take a look at the first example down here at the bottom, this is what a quadratic linear system would look like. It would say y equals, and then here's a quadratic expression. How do I know it's a quadratic? It has x squared. Okay, so here's one expression that's equal to y. Then right underneath it, we have another expression that's equal to y, but this one's just linear because it's x to the first power. So we have two expressions that look different, but both are equal to y. So if they're both equal to y, what's true? You guys just did a substitution problem like this on your do now. If they're equal to y, these two have to be equal to each other. So notice step one, we get to leave the y's out and we get to just set the quadratic equal to the linear equation. Okay? Linear expression. Now since we have this, you guys have solved lots of problems like this. How do I solve quadratics? Well, no, we're not using quadratic formula. But what do I have to do first? Move to the other side? Because doesn't this have to be equal to 0? Yeah, so our goal is to get it set equal to 0, then we can do the asterisk. Okay, but we can't do the asterisk until it's set equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract a 1x, and I'm going to subtract a 5. So make sure you guys are doing this so you have notes to follow later. Let me zoom in a little bit. Can everybody see this okay? Up there on the board? Okay. X squared comes down because it had nothing to pair up with. 2x minus 1x is a plus 1x. And what's 3 minus 5? Minus 2 equals 0. Now we have a really nice, we have a trinomial, just 3 terms, quadratic. They don't have anything in common. So we are going to use our asterisk. You could also do the quadratic formula if you wanted to. Like, quadratic formula works all the time. It just takes a little bit longer than this does. So I would use the asterisk. Okay? What number goes up top? On the bottom? Positive 1. And then on the sides? 1. And then I go ahead and pair up the letter with it. So 1x. What two numbers will multiply to give us negative 2 but add to give you positive 1? Positive 2 and negative 1. Yeah, you guys said the right answer. You guys just set them opposite each other. Okay, so our factored form would be x plus 2 times x minus 1 equals 0. And then by now, we've done so many of these that, technically we would be breaking this apart right now. We'd be setting x plus 2 equal to 0, and we would set x minus 1 equal to 0. But then you guys would just have to solve them. And when you solve the x plus 2, what would you do? You would subtract 2, right? And subtracting 2 from 0 is just going to turn it negative. So yeah, you guys have all gotten to the point where as long as this is a 1x out front, you guys are typically going straight to your two answers. And you know that they're going to become their opposites because that's how we solve one-step equations. We do the inverse. So you'd have x equals -2 and x equals +1. Everybody good with that so far? That is nothing new. We have done lots of quadratics where we have solved for the two x values. The only different part now is that we need the y value for each x value. So we are going to plug in our x values. Now look, go back to the top, right here. I could plug it into this one, or I could plug it into this one, because they're both equal to y, so it doesn't matter. Which one looks easier? I mean, the linear is always going to be easier, right? Because we'll only have one spot to plug it into. If I plug it into the quadratic, I have to plug it in here and here. So why not just choose the easier one, right? So we're always going to plug it into the linear expression, linear equation. So y would equal x, which is -2 plus 5. This y would equal x, which is 1 plus 5. So now what are the two y values? 3 and 6. Good job. What's the only thing I have left to do at the very end? Write them as ordered pairs. Now you better make sure you pair them up right. Like don't write -2, 6. It was -2, 3, right? Make sure you pair them up correctly. And then it was 1, 6. There. What do you guys think? Is that okay? Not too bad? The steps are always going to be the same. Set the quadratic equal to the linear, move everything to one side, do your asterisk, get your two x values, and then do a plug and chug to get your two y values. Let me know when you're finished so I can flip it. But the rest of you, if you're already caught up to there, go ahead and flip it over. You could go ahead and get the next one started if you feel comfortable. Everybody caught up? Caleb, you good? Yeah. Okay. I will. I'm not going to the gym tonight, but I have a facial at 4:45, so I'll send it after that. Got to keep my face fresh. All right. Then you get to hear that again on the video later. All right, so for this one, these two have already been set equal for you. Now remember, they're not always going to be set up for you. Like you can already see down there at the bottom, I didn't set that one up. But for the first two, I had already set it up on your notes. So there's my quadratic expression. Here's my linear expression. And your first step is to always set them equal to each other because they are both equal to y. So they are equal to one another. What do I move? Yep, so I'm subtracting the 1x and the 2 from both sides. Bringing x squared down. What's a -4 minus 1? -5x. And what is 6 minus 2? +4. It's time for your asterisk. Four and -5 is what we're trying to make. What and what? -1 and -4? I agree with that. Two negatives multiply to make a positive, but they add together to stay negative, so that's good. Okay, so we've got x minus 1 and x minus 4 for factored form, which means our two answers are positive 1 and positive 4. Nice job. Okay, so if you guys couldn't hear Kaden, we're using this one. The y equals x plus 2. That's what we're plugging them into. So y equals x, which is 1 plus 2. And then this one would be y equals x, so that's 4 plus 2. 3 and 6. Isn't that what they were last time? It was close. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Yep, so make sure. So I'm just kind of separating this out so you guys can see 1, 3 go together and 4, 6 go together. 1, 3 and here, I'll move it up or move it down. Can you see that better? Okay. 1, 3, 4, 6. Did you have a question, or were you just thinking ahead? Okay. All right, then why don't you guys go ahead, set up the bottom. So that last problem on your notes, I'd like you guys to just go ahead and try to get it set up and try to go as far as you can with it. Set your two expressions equal, move everything to one side. Make the asterisk and see if you can get your two x values. And I'm going to freeze the screen. I'm going to work it out and then we'll compare them. As you guys are, well, hang on. I was going to say, as you guys were working, I was going to try to just like put it up on the screen real quick, but we'll just compare at the end. I have faith in you guys. Good? Yeah. Okay. It's okay. Everybody's trying to get this done on their own anyway. That's what you're supposed to be doing, is trying to do this one by yourself. How many of you already have your x value? Okay. I'm not going to go any further than that for right now. I'd like you guys, if you already have your x value, or if you're close, just look up here at the board for a minute, because this hasn't happened yet. So I set them equal. Because both of these were negative, I added them to the other side, right? And when I add them, it becomes x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 0. So I'm using a 16 and a positive 8. Well, the two numbers that work are 4 and 4. So if factored form is x plus 4 times x plus 4, then won't both of my answers be the same number? Okay, so let me ask you a question. If x is equal to -4 twice, isn't -4 the only x value we have? So remember in the beginning when I said you could have, a parabola. This is not a very good picture, but you could have this parabola, and even though most of the time we draw our line here where it'll cross twice, I mean, potentially you could have a situation where the line just grazes the parabola at one spot. That's the type of problem this is. If you only get one x value and it's the same thing, then that means that the line's only touching the parabola in one spot. So do I really have to plug in this number twice? No, you're just doing extra work. So if you happen to get the same answer twice, you're only going to have one ordered pair at the end, right? You could write it twice, but it's going to be the same thing. So when we go to plug it in to find y, the original equation said this, y equals -2x minus 6. So we're going to replace this with the -4. And what do you get? Yep. And again, it wouldn't matter which of those you did. You'd only have to do it twice if they were different, but since they're the same number, you can do it once, and then you just have to write one ordered pair. Nope. No, it's nothing like that. You're just looking to see where they cross. So if you get the same answer twice, that means it only intersects at one spot. So you should only end up with one ordered pair. That doesn't really happen all that often. Most of the time, the problems we give you, you will get two different x values, and you'll plug it in. You'll plug each one in. So tell me what questions you guys have on those. The practice page, I'm going to give you 4 problems, and that's it. So do you guys feel okay with this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.